It's a big piece of like normalcy, right? Like I just want to be back doing what I love doing. You work so hard for something, you just want to be doing it again. That's all. Like you just want to get back to normalcy. I guess I just want to prove the hard work, right? Like I just, you know, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do all this for nothing. 5 weeks later, and I'm back at the races. God, so much has happened. I took my break after mountain bike season. I put in some of the best like pre-season work I'd ever done, and came out on a higher level than I had ever really reached out of a base season. And I trained right up through Rochester. I won both days by myself, not a sprint like we had done in previous years. And we're at the level that I wanted to be to shoot for those like top 10s and top 5s against like European competitors. And we went to Madison for the World Cup, the start of the race. We were going into the off camber. I slotted it right behind Lars van der Haar, and he slipped his wheel and like went sideways, and I T-boned him, and I flew over like, you know, scorpion death sling and a flight of stairs worth of drop. Still clipped in, went right onto my shoulder, like upside down on my neck and my shoulder. And I heard this like popping, and I was like, found out I had a broken sternum, fractured manubrium, so right at the top of the sternum. You know, it was immediately like, okay, focus on healing, like right now. Like right this second, start healing. I've tried to keep that attitude this whole time. This one was like, immobilizing. I mean, I was useless at home. Couldn't sneeze, couldn't laugh, couldn't get off the floor, couldn't lift anything, couldn't reach for anything. The day after the crash, I was on the trainer for 30 minutes. So I just kept going every day. It was a struggle, but on the trainer, trying to stretch as much as I could, trying to keep from getting stiff and trying to get blood flow. And 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call that my second oldest brother was in a car crash and died. Yeah, when I got that call, I was actually on a ride with Spencer. My mom calls me, and she never says like, hey, can you call me, it's important. And so I got that, and I was like, oh, okay. I lost it. I couldn't tell whether I was gonna like try to ride home, call somebody to come get me, or just like take the next trail I saw off into the woods and go sit in the woods for the rest of the day. I think it took a lot more out of me than I thought it would. Physically, you're not prepared for that kind of thing. I wasn't prepared for it. And dealing with my physical pain and my physical rehabilitation, bike riding and training and just getting back to that, no matter how hard it was still like very rehabilitating in that manner as well. I had an opportunity to go out and just like turn the pedals over and turn my brain over and just think about it. And I haven't really been able to train like I did before, and I might not get the result that I want, but I think showing up and just being there to get back to my normal, like once I'm racing again, I'm racing again. I'm back into the groove of things, and hopefully be able to have that reset to find my like flow again. I felt good. We were going into Pan Am. I had just kind of really settled in and got the groove of things, and was like, okay, I'm gonna make my mark on the race, kind of make my move, start like kind of setting myself up to win it. And there's like these big concrete steps. When I went to step off my bike, I have no idea what happened. I've watched the video a few times, and like I just can't figure out why it happened, but I stepped off and immediately rolled my ankle. The whole left side just slammed into the stairs. That was it. I hit my head, cracked a rib pretty good. Tried to continue riding, but I couldn't do it. I ended up dropping out of the race. It's the first time I've ever cried after a race. I sat down and it just like all hit me. And I put my hands over my face and just like wept. I cried like when my brother died. I've had a little bit of FOMO of seeing like all my colleagues, my racing compatriots all going to Europe. I love going to Europe to race, you know, all of this time is like moving on and I'm not. And that all kind of hit me in that last week where I was just like, oh God, I'm tired of doing this. I'm exhausted. I think when I got to that point in Canada, that was it. I was crying because I was exhausted and I wasn't over it yet. I took some actual time off this time and I was like, I'm not going to do a single thing for a few days. Just get my nervous system back on track. Do some meditating and be directing my energies where I can and not overdoing it. And I think that was the best thing I could have done. When I hurt my sternum, I was just so anxious that I couldn't sit down for a minute. I mean, I was doing just tons of like body work and tons of stretching and all this stuff, and that was great. I think it got me going really quickly, but I believe that it had a much bigger like impact on my nervous system than just the physical side of it. I think I was more flexible, but I don't think I was like, my body was ready to get over that trauma. This cycle of injury, recovery, refocusing, it is much more mental than physical at this point. There's something about just being injured or being off the bike that you're like, I want to do it, but I really don't want to do it. I really don't want to I don't want to cross the bridge from where I am now to getting back to racing again. It's much harder than just showing up at the start line. It doesn't equate to like an hour of you suffering. It's every day suffering. It's every single day. And then looking forward, really the only thing you can look forward to is more suffering once you get to the race. It's just really important for me to get that back to normal again, even if it is a little bit more suffering. I'm just trying to be patient in general with myself and with the process. Been spending a little bit of time, quite a little bit of time in the basement on the trainer. One of the things I've actually found pretty helpful is meditation or hypnosis on the trainer. You'd be surprised how you can blow 20 minutes and get some really significant alignment with your psyche by doing that. I can't do anything about losing my brother. Nothing. I can't stop me crashing out and getting hurt. I can't do anything about the crash I had at Pan Am's. The only thing I can actually do is guide how I'm going to react to that. I know what I'm capable of. I know what my body's capable of. I know what it looks like to buckle down and not force the healing process, but like help the healing process along. I've been in a determined spot before and been like, okay, I'll put my head down and I'll make this happen. Giving myself that little bit of a break allowed me to go like, okay, if I can take a little bit more time off and get fresh, then mentally I will be able to be stronger and more focused for this period of time. I love this job. I love doing it. I love racing. I've thought long and hard about my purpose in it. And you hear again and again, like with elite racers, there's always this like line where people are trying to draw, hey, if it's not fun, don't do it. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing it. Find out what you love about it. Winning isn't everything. There's more to it than winning. There's more fun to be had than winning. And I've thought a lot about that, and like, there is, but the most fun thing to me is to win. Oh yeah, I'm not showing up to nationals to not win nationals.